What's up, y'all? So, I'm about to start something called the Sidebar. And remember, we talked about, or I talked about in the introduction about how you might see some individual videos and things where we will talk about specific things, or maybe even the same topic, just kind of talk about it based off of how we feel without everybody else involved, or we're just gonna have some individual videos. So here's mine. And I'm gonna call it the sidebar. So, what I want to talk about in the sidebar is, we've been talking a lot about getting out of your own way and, loving yourself a little more, having that good support, all that good stuff. And I just want to talk about it more from my perspective. Hopefully, y'all don't get tired of seeing me, but, you know, we'll see how that goes. So first, my first sidebar conversation is going to kind of tie into what we've already been talking about on a regular basis, which right now, you're gonna see me look down and all over the place, of course, because I can't focus on one thing. But I'm going to talk about when did you know you were walking in your own purpose, and just to kind of give a background of where I got all of this from was this week has been an extremely hard emotional week for me. And really, it's been kind of going on since like last week, but it just kind of boiled over this week. And, I wanted to talk about it. So, I am not an extremely outward person. I'm not an extrovert. I am extremely introvert, which you all have heard me say, several times. And this has been placed in my heart. I don't know why. And I'm not even gonna ask why. I just know I need to do this. And when I say do this podcast, having these conversations, being able to just give some really clear transparency, because I feel like these things need to be talked about. Growing up, you it's always, girl, you be all right, or you can talk to your best friends, or the people closest to you, but on some level you are not fully clear because you're embarrassed about how you feel. You don't want to be laughed at, talked about, people saying that you have low self-esteem, because I know these are my issues. So I'm just going to speak from my perspective. I'm nobody's expert, but I could tell you what I've been through and what I know, how I feel, because I'm sure, like 99% sure, that there's somebody out there who has had these same kind of feelings, thoughts, mental blocks, whatever, what have you, whatever you want to call it. So, when did I know that I was walking in my purpose? And to be honest, it's been a couple of years. I had a really, 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 really tough couple of years since COVID. And if I was going to give a definitive answer, it would be during that time, because God truly broke me down. And when I say He broke me down, to be honest, I'm surprised that I am even sane at this point after all I've been through. And just to kind of give a little background on that, because transparency is my thing. So my husband got COVID at the end of 2021. And, I got up in the middle of the night and I hear him in full panic mode. He's blue, face blue, hands blue, feet blue. And he's like, help me, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, So, first I had to, we did some breathing to help calm him down enough to be able to get him to the car. Because he a big dude. I can't carry him, and I want him passing out along the way. And to be honest, calling 911 honestly did not cross my mind. I don't know why. I'm not good in panic situations, so maybe that's what it is. But so I took him to the emergency room, and I couldn't go in. So I sat in the parking lot in the cold for hours. Just, I'm calling, I'm texting, I'm trying to make sure he's okay. And, he sometimes wasn't responding, sometimes was. But bottom line was he had COVID. He couldn't breathe. But, so I started praying like, Lord, don't put him on no ventilator. Cause, that was during the time where it was like, they get put on the ventilator, they ain't coming back out. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a really, really, really scary time. That was the beginning. No, it wasn't the beginning, but it was a very pivotal moment. And I'm gonna kind of go back a little further to the beginning, but right now I think that's probably where I'm gonna start at. So he was in the hospital for a week. And it was really tough because, I have kids, they love their daddy. So it was constantly, where's daddy? What's going on? And it was touch and go, like, what's going to happen. But, thankfully he came out, and we thought he was okay. They sent him home with a breathing machine and all these oxygen tanks and shit. It was crazy. This is my 40-year-old husband, and I'm sitting here, like he got an oxygen tank, like what's really going on? So he kept coughing. His cough was really bad, and to the point where I kept telling him, like, Lauren, you need to call the doctor, somebody, because something ain't right. And this one particular day, that morning we got up and I told him again, call the doctor today. So he was like, all right, whatever. So he took the kids to school. He wanted to take the kids to school. And my daughter said that when he dropped off our youngest son at pre-K, when he got back in the car, he kind of just sat there and had to catch his breath. And she said she was worried, but she didn't say anything because, he got it together and drove her to school. So he called on his way home and was like, I called the doctor. They told me to come on in. I'm going there now. So I said, okay, cool. Let me know what they say. Cause mind you, I'm working. At that point, this was the first day of tax season. And I have started my two job thing again because I work and do taxes with my mom. So um he called after he got out the doctor and he said, they're sending me to the emergency room. And he going off because he was like, they talking about I need to call an ambulance. And I told them, no, I'm gonna drive because it's across the street. But as we're talking, I hear he's like really out of breath. So he was like, they just said my oxygen was low and I needed to go to the emergency room. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna go. They're gonna put him back on the oxygen, get his stuff back up, monitor him for a day or two, and we should be cool. Not the case. So I pick up our son because in pre K, they only go for 3 hours here. So I pick him up and I get a phone call from his cell phone. And it was a woman. And she said, is this Jerice? I said, yes. She said, is your husband Lauren? I said, yes. She said, did you know he was coming to the emergency room? And I'm like, bitch, what's going on? Like, yeah, what is it? Who is this? So she was like, I'm sorry, my name is Nurse so and so, and your husband came in here and you need to get here now. We think he's having a heart attack. You, I can't even put in words. It was like the world just stopped because I'm like, heart attack. What is she talking about? So I'm like, what? And she said, you need to get here right now. And I just kept saying, well, I heard what she was saying, but that was all I could get out of my mouth. So, I snap out of it and I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. So I call my mom in a full panic because I'm like, mommy, you got to come get Carson because, they said Lauren's having a heart attack. I don't know what's going on. So, my mom, she gets here within, which seemed like forever, was for real like 10 minutes. So she gets here and I run out the door. I run to the hospital because the hospital is like a couple minutes away. It's not far. So, I get there, I run in and I'm yelling, where's my, I need to get back there, because of course it's still full because it's COVID and, all this stuff is going on. So, they looking at me like this bitch crazy. She done came out and said, look, my husband's back there. They didn't call me, said he having a heart attack. I need to get back there right now. So I get back there and he's hooked up to all this stuff, these machines, everything, but he's awake. He's talking, and the nurse is like, his heart was working really hard, but we don't think he fully had a heart attack, but we need to keep him here and run some tests. So by the end of that, I sit down, I calm down, and I ask my mom to get the kids from school because I need to stay and see what's going on. And they admit him. And so the cardiologist comes to his room and he said, are you right with God? That's what he asked Lauren. Are you right with God? And Lauren was like, yeah, I guess, he said, look, if you're not right with God, you need to get right with God because there is no reason why you should be standing here right now. There's no reason why we should be talking to you right now. There is no reason why you should be alive right now. So whatever God has in store for you, you better figure it out because God saved you today. And then he was like, can I pray with y'all? Like this is the cardiologist in the doctor's office is saying, I mean, in the hospital is saying this. So, I'm just taken away, clutching my pearls, all of that. Cause I'm just like, my God. So, needless to say, he had a pulmonary embolism. And if we didn't catch it when we did, I would be talking about my husband was, not my husband is. And, that was the first time I had truly been for real, like scared as an adult that I can think of then, because that ain't it. So a few months go by, Lauren is getting better. He's going to the cardiologist every week. He's going to the doctor every week. They're getting him back, healthy. And I signed up to go back to school because I was overwhelmed. So I quit my other job and working full time with my mom. Okay, yay. But I couldn't fully celebrate because, I'm worried. So, the first day of classes for me and the first week of school for the kids in that August. It just so happened Lauren was like, I want to ride with you to take the kids to school. So I was like, okay, cool. So by this time, Carson, we had him in full-time ABA therapy. He is on the autism spectrum, level 3 nonverbal, which we will have sessions about that too. But he decided to, ride with me. And that, wasn't normal. Usually I would just take the kids to school and, keep it pushing. But this particular day we were in the car together. And Carson, he had a sinus infection. We were giving him his meds and it was a regular, normal morning. No, he was jumping on his trampoline. There was no fever, nothing. So we get to my oldest daughter's school, drop her off, and I happen to turn around and I see him shaking like he has the chills. So I said, Lauren, because Lauren was driving, and I was like, Lauren, something's wrong. Let me get in the back seat. And so I took Carson out of his seat, and I could feel him heating up. And I was like, Lauren, he's starting to run a fever. We need to go to the emergency room. So Lauren was like, well, no, the doctor's office is right here. Let's just go to the doctor's office. So he called. We get to the doctor's office, and I'm talking to the front desk lady. What is it? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The front desk lady. So I turn around and Carson throws up. So I'm like, okay, something's going on. He's got a fever. I'm giving her the rundown. So the nurse comes out. She's like, come on back. We get in there. I'm telling the nurse what's going on. And Lauren is holding Carson. I have my back towards them. And I hear Lauren go, Carson, Carson. And I turn around and my baby is limp. He is not breathing. He's not moving. He's not doing anything at all. And I just screamed, Lord, not my baby. That, like, I remember that vividly. After that, I don't really remember. I do, but I don't. So it was a lot. So the nurse calls the doctor, she runs to get the doctor. The doctors all come in there. It's like about three of them. And they get some cold compresses, ice packs, because he literally went from no fever at all to a fever of 106 within about 15 minutes. And he had a seizure, had a febrile seizure, apparently, is what it's called, febrile, which I've never heard of, but what a traumatic experience. So we spent the weekend in Vanderbilt that weekend because we had to monitor him and make sure he was okay. And thank you, Lord. I mean, just thank you that he was fine. It was a lot. So, in saying all of that, I figured out what I needed. Well, I had already kind of figured it out when I quit my job, but it was just like, okay, I have to figure out something that's going to make me more available for my family. Because working two jobs and doing all this extra stuff it's too much, and it's taking me away from being the best that I can be. And I don't want to have these it just so happened conversations anymore. So, I started working with her full time, and I'm back in school, and I'm like, I really, I feel like I should be telling people about this shit. Like, because it was really hard. And to be honest, um, because it was so hard, it just showed me how good God is. Because, you always hear people, God carried me through. He carried me through that storm and this, that, and the third. And I understand and I get it, but I never, and I mean never fully understood it until I went through that. And I didn't understand it until I made it to the other side of it. And I was like, wow. And when I talk to people and I tell them my story and I tell them, all the ins and outs of, the details of what was going on. And, they're like, you really need to tell your story. It's a story of, in my mind, strength, courage, and, understanding, because, my marriage was not perfect. And, to have to put your anger aside to make sure your husband stays alive is it was not a second thought, but it's hard. Once you get past the traumatic part of it, it's like, okay, so I'm saying this in the first sidebar because I want to give y'all understanding of some of, or the majority of the stuff we're going to be talking about, which is how to move through those feelings, your personal feelings, plus the feelings of your marriage, how to build yourself up from being literally broken all the way down to understanding what it means to be a parent of special needs kids. Because mind you, I got four kids. Four. My youngest two are on the autism spectrum, and it's a roller coaster, baby. That's all I can say. It is a roller coaster, but it's a blessing to be able to see this world and understand this world and look at my kids and love on them and help them grow and give them all of the tools and things that they need to be successful in life, and to find the tools that I need to be the best that I can be and be successful in life. And I feel like it's just been put on me to talk about the hard stuff that don't nobody want to talk about because they too embarrassed. Or they talk about somebody else who had these feelings and then go cry about the shit at night because they go through it. Because that is what it is. Life now, the majority of life, because I ain't calling nobody. I'm not talking about anybody specific. I just know what I know, and I know what I've experienced. I have literally walked into a room and been laughed at. But them motherfuckers didn't know what I was going through. They didn't know my light. They didn't know my strength. And to be honest, during that time, I would cower. I would, shrivel up, want to be in the background. but I would have this inner battle. I would be angry and I couldn't understand why I was angry. But I was angry because it's not meant for me to cower. It is not meant for me to be in the background. It is not meant for me to dim my light. And that's what I know. So, thank y'all for listening. This is the first sidebar. And trust me, it's going to get way deeper than just this. And this is just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. So, you know what? Peace out. I hope y'all enjoy and have a good day.